my name is Mackenna Moralez, and I am the assistant editor for both Supply and Demand Chain Executive and Food Logistics magazines, and this is Unboxing the Last Mile. So today I am going to do some online shopping, and then my co-host and my co-worker Brielle and I are going to analyze the logistics process, how transparent these companies are, and what the packaging is going to be like. Today I am doing some pet shopping because I recently got a new dog. So insert a picture of Tootsie here. So I just got Tootsie Tuesday, and he is a rescue. He's a lab retriever mix, and he's 5 years old, and he needs some more toys. But then I am also getting my family dog. Plum is coming to live with me. She is also 5. She's a Pomeranian, and she has 3 legs. So if you have seen any of our link lives, you'll have probably seen the Plum pillow sitting behind me in each one. So we're gonna get some stuff for her today. And the first thing that we're going to get is a bed for her, because we just want her to have a new bed and be cozy on a Pet Supplies website, which Brielle explained to me as the Amazon of pets, which means that we're gonna get our stuff really fast and it's affordable, which is something that I love. So right away on the website, it says that you can get free shipping for over $49. And if you don't spend that much, then the shipping is $4.95, which I think is pretty good because there's others that are just like way more expensive than that. The most impressive thing about this, as for like a logistics standpoint, is that the shipping, you receive your products in 1 to 3 days. It doesn't ship in 1 to 3 days. So by like Tuesday, I could be holding a dog toy in my hand that I bought today on a Friday. Like I mentioned before, the first thing that I am going to get is a bed for Plum. So let's look at some beds for her. And then I really like this one. It is non-slip. It has a short entry point. It kind of matches my home decor, and the dog on it is a Pomeranian. So I think that is a huge win. So something I do like about this website, and I think it's nice for a logistics standpoint too, is that they tell you how much money you need until you get the free shipping, which is awesome. So I am going to look for toys for Tootsie first. So Tootsie keeps on taking my decorative pumpkins. So I want to get something soft for him, and then something that has like a ball or something inside. So this little octopus thing seems like the perfect thing for him. And he's a large dog, so I'm going to get the large size of it. And then I am going to get this Tootsie Roll toy for him because his name is Tootsie. Middle name Roll. Last name redacted. So I'm going to get another toy for Plum. She, like I mentioned before, she is a very small dog. So I am going to get some bones for them. One of the main reasons why I want to get a bone is because I am just super curious about how they're going to ship them. Because I know that when you're in a pet store, you can get a bone and it's not plastic wrapped at all. You can just get a bone the way that it is and then just give it to your dog, like even in store. So what is it going to be like to ship it? Is it going to be plastic wrapped? Are they going to ship it in the same package that like the bed and the other plush stuff are going to come in? Because then will it smell like bones? I'm really curious to see how this is gonna go. But that is it for me. I'm gonna check out, and then I will check back in with you in a few days once the package ships. I'm really excited for this.
All right, so today I am shopping for Halloween decorations because I'm last minute like that, and even though Halloween is like a week away, and this will probably air after Halloween, so I apologize, I really need some Halloween decorations. Okay, so I'm going to go to a website that is primarily for decorations, party supplies, things like that. A lot of teachers use this, and what I really need is little blackbirds or crows to go on my front porch for Halloween decorations. So I'm gonna type in crows. All right, here we go. I got feathered crows for Halloween. Well, these are exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna add 2 to cart. Wow. What's really interesting about this though is that not a lot of retailers online have this little spot right here that's good for delivery options. This is really important for me right now because this is a Halloween decoration thing that I need for a specific time. So I can type in my zip code and then it will tell me exactly when it will get here. So this says if I order by noon tomorrow, it will come within 5 to 7 business days, which is just enough time because I do need it for Halloween day. So I need Halloween spiders. I'm making some kind of spooky like nest and like spooky decor. This says spider rings. I don't want that. I don't want orange or purple. Here we go. Spider explosion set of 20. It's perfect. Okay, and that still has my zip code, so it tells me when it's going to get here by, and again, that's within 5 to 7 business days, so I can add that to my cart as well. And so I think that's all I need, so I can go check out. What's really interesting here is that it has this shipping information where it tells you all of the different types of shipping and how long it gets there by where you are. So you can select, wherever you're located. I'll select the US, and then you hit view, and it has all of this information about the shipping information. So it tells you that it has this new on the double delivery, which allows you to shop within the next day, 2-day, or 3-day, or standard delivery options. And then it kind of gives you all of the different rates, and it even tells you the percentage of the order, just for you to be able to actually see the percentage of what you're buying. Another thing that's really interesting is that it has this little map of when you will get it based on where you're located. So see, here is the yellow is what will take 5 business days. I live in New Jersey, so unfortunately I am in the yellow. It also has green for 4 business and blue for 3 business days. But what's interesting about this is that you can tell that the fulfillment center is probably located somewhere around here, judging by this little map that they have, which is kind of the most transparent that I have ever seen when shipping stuff online. So I'm going to keep an eye out for something like this on any other website I see, because it's kind of super interesting to me. All right, and then it also has next day delivery information where it tells you when your order will arrive. So it says Monday, it'll arrive on Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But what you really want to know for here is probably that Saturday will arrive. If you order on Saturday, it will arrive on Tuesday, which is a lot of people don't really know, when is my order going to arrive if I order it on Saturday. I like my options, so I'm just going to check out. All right, so unfortunately, even after all of that, I'm only eligible for standard, which I guess is what the map was showing me, but all of that other information made it a little too much and made me kind of excited, thinking that I would get 2-day shipping. Maybe I just read it wrong, but sometimes that happens with over information, is your customers then get a little confused. So now it says I'm gonna get it by Friday, October 30th, which is the day before I need it. So I'm just gonna do this and hope that everything goes as planned. If not, the next video after this, I'm going to be pretty upset. Okay, so there we go. I placed the order. I'm all good to go. Let's just hope that this will come out okay and that I will get it before Halloween. Let's hope for the best.
I just checked my email and I got a notification saying that my stuff that I ordered yesterday has already shipped, and I ordered it at like 6 o'clock last night and it shipped at 3 this morning. So that is really impressive. However, it's only one thing in one box, so we will wait for the second one together. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing. I'm really excited. Well, first off, it's in this huge box. And I'm surprised with how fast it got here too, because the last time I think I checked it, I said it was Saturday morning, and I had gotten the tracking information, and it's been less than 24 hours since that happened, and I believe that most tracking information takes 24 hours to activate it total. So right now there's a whole bunch of paper, extra paper, which is fine. But then, did I split this into 2? Okay, so this is one box out of the 2, so only one box arrived so far, which is interesting because the first email that I got that shipped was about the octopus toy that I bought, and that was always shipped separately. So Plum's bed came completely just like in bed form, and then her little duck toy, none of this was wrapped either. They just had this excess amount of paper as well. The toy, and then the boxes are all fine, and then the bone did come completely wrapped. And it doesn't smell like dog food at all. So this is very exciting. I can't wait for the next package to arrive. Hello! So it has currently been 1 week since I last ordered the dog stuff, and the package arrived actually on Wednesday, but I was out of town. But that is still longer than the 1 to 3 day receive guarantee because I spent over the $50, but that's okay. So there's only one item in this box, I know that for sure, and it's because everything else was delivered in the last clip. So I am going to open this up for us. And it's good because Tootsie's going a little nuts, aren't you? He's right here. You can see his tail wagging. So these boxes are super easy to open. Oh, I lied. Oh my god. Okay, I definitely lied when I said that because it's not that easy. Alright, so there is just a whole bunch of paper in this, which I don't necessarily understand when it's something like dog toys, but this is it. So this was all the packaging in there. I don't know why they put so much extra paper in for something like this. So that we are talking to an industry expert on packaging soon, and so that is going to be a question that I'm going to ask. So stay tuned.
Hi everyone, it's Brielle again. I am here to show you what I've unboxed. Unfortunately, I did have to unbox without you because there were some technical difficulties, but here I am, and I'm ready to talk about some interesting stuff with this order. So first is I got this in the mail separate. This is my Spider Explosion. Yes, it came in the mail separate from the rest of my order, which if you're ordering from a big box retailer, it's not that weird because they want to get you the stuff as soon as possible, but that's with 2-day shipping. This was almost a week out and it came separate, and I find that really, really different. Like, I'm curious about why that happened, especially because they started out with the same carrier service and then they ended up with 2 separate carrier services. They were together the whole time, so I'm not really sure where that disconnect came from. And then also this came a few hours before this did, because it was separate carrier services, and I think that if I didn't understand the logistics process, I would be pretty concerned that my package was missing half of my order. Another weird thing to me is that, so this is my product, But what it came in was this bag. It's a little rough around the edges. It looks like it was either vacuum sealed or just too much. Well, it's pretty sticky, so it seems like it was used with a sealant and a little too much of that sealant. And then also it came with this bottom of a cardboard box. What's interesting about that is that this was my product. So I don't really know why it needed this. It could have just had a poly bag. What I'm thinking is that they wanted to make sure that the return label would be okay. However, I don't know if it was all that necessary. I hope it was just something that they had extra of or was part of a recyclable initiative, but it definitely did not come looking the best. It didn't look as professional as I would have thought it did. So then a few hours later, my second half of the order came, and these are my crows. They are in 2 separate boxes in a larger box with some sealed air. They came okay. I'm assuming that they were packaged and ready to go by the product label, not by order, since they were packaged in 2 separate boxes. What was also interesting is sometimes retailers will often sell advertising space in their packaging, and that is absolutely what happened here. I got 2 advertisements, 2 paper advertisements. And again, as somebody who cares about sustainability, that kind of threw me for a loop because I do like to shop with people who have the same values as me. They also sent their catalog, which made me just second guess their decisions because it is the end of Halloween and this is Halloween 2020. And I mean, I'm excited to have it because I do love this company and I love getting their catalog, but you do wonder why they would do something like that when there's only like 1 day left of the season. But yeah, so I'm really excited to ask our expert all of this stuff. I want to know what she thinks about all of this, and I'm really excited to see what happened with Mackenna as well. See you in a second. Well, welcome back. We're here with Alicemarie Geoffrion, who's the VP of Packaging Operations at DHL Supply Chain, and we're going to talk about our experiences, and she's going to answer some of our questions about what we went through. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I guess I'll start with about what happened with me. So I think it was really interesting because I had a little bit of a weird one. One of the things that I got was really small, but it came, I brought some show and tell.
Okay.
But it came like this. So it was a small bag, but it came with this underneath. And then this was kind of like, see how sticky it is? So it was really interesting, and it made me wonder, like, how are decisions made on what to package things with? Like, who made the decision to do that? I know why. I think it was because they wanted to make sure the order paper was in there, but it was still bizarre because it could have just been a poly bag.
Well, I would say typically what would happen is that based on, the outer packaging that you're looking at and the inner packaging, what would happen is typically, as you can imagine, if it's a low value item, it usually comes in a poly bag or a mailer with very, little fillers in there if it's not breakable. Whereas if it's something like an electronic item, there would be, standards and quality measurements that the DCs and the teams that are packaging those would actually put together in there. So probably what happened in your case is that there may have been some extra materials lying around, and to avoid some waste or using new materials, they may have kind of thrown that in there just to protect the product a little bit so it doesn't move around a lot and send it. But also it may not have been the best decision. So sometimes if the rules are not fully defined, then it's up to that individual that is packaging that product sometimes to package it and get it out the door. And that may have occurred in your case. But ultimately, most companies try to have rules around the quality standards, around, trying to have the most right size package to be able to save from a cost perspective while still protecting that product to the end customer.
It did seem like it was recycled material, which made me happy if that was the case. If not, it did feel a little wasteful. But one of the other things that's super weird about this is the sealant on how, like, I don't know if you can see, but it's like really, so I guess because it was so a big poly bag for what I got, I guess they wanted to make it like more suctioned in. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, so the adhesive is probably to protect larger size products, right? Because there's typically standard packaging within the DC as something's going out the door and someone's, if the rules aren't defined, someone ends up choosing it and probably chose something that was meant to protect that a larger product or a product that potentially could, have more damage, et cetera, which may be why you have a bag that has more adhesive than probably needed for the product that you had chosen.
Is there a set standard that each company has to go through for packaging requirements, or is it different for everyone?
What happens is that most companies and most, manufacturing companies will set their own quality standards and rules. So again, you really have to look at what is the product that's being ordered, and they can set that up in the system around the value of the product, the weight of the product, the fragility of the product, and everything around that. And they really go about and they make sure that there's typically standards set so that when those products are ordered, there are guidelines that pop up on the type of packaging that is used. Now, it does not always occur. It's not always the case, but I think most companies really aim to have those rules in place and ensure that the quality in the product is protected at the right price to the end customer. And a lot of times they do, ship tests ahead of time as well, just to make sure that the packaging they're choosing will get that product undamaged to that end customer when particularly in the case of higher value items. But there's definitely rules that are set, and companies absolutely aim to set those rules, but can't always be controlled. If there's shortage of materials and something needs to get out the door, they may just grab what's around them, which also may contribute to what you have seen in your package. Or they're trying to meet some standards and something may be faster and they may alter what those rules are.
Another thing that I thought was really interesting was all of the advertisements that were unrelated. Yes. And I know that that's common, but I just wanted to, can you get into that and explain where that comes from?
Yeah. So obviously, because you're purchasing something online, you don't have the in-store experience. So as you know, a lot of companies spend a lot of time and money putting together point of purchase displays and really cool looking trays that are on the shelves. So it really catches your eye, makes you look at other products, right, and want to buy other things. But when you're purchasing something at home, you're not having that in-store experience. So they are trying to sell you more products. So you will see flyers. Sometimes you'll see those adhesive labels with instant redeemable coupons that are there as well. We've put neckers on some of our customers' products, right, with more product information. Sometimes flat out labeling around QR codes so you can learn more about the brand, about other products available. So there's definitely a reason for it, because they are trying to get you to understand that, hey, here's more you can buy. And sometimes those promotions are with, other companies, not even their own, right? Where they're coupons for other companies that they've developed partnerships with and joint ventures with, right? To be able to kind of cross-sell across companies. But they are trying to give you little bit of that in-store experience that you're really missing when you get that product at home, so that they can keep your attention around the brands and around the products. Mm-hmm. So we do quite a bit of that for customers, and that's usually kind of added in the, the value added services or secondary packaging side of the business. So what DHL would typically do for a customer, for instance, is, at that very end of line, right before that product gets out, understand, what marketing requirements or goals the customer would have. And then they would go ahead and they would add the flyers or add the labels and QR codes and everything else that the customers want just before it gets shipped out. Mm-hmm. So it's just a way to keep you interested in the product. And it's obviously a way to sell more products.
Well, this is interesting to me, which I have seen before, but these are completely different companies. So
yes.
Yeah. So how did those partnerships come about? Does it that this one's for Geico, for an insurance company, and then did they reach out to DHL or did they reach out to the supplier?
It's usually the manufacturers, right? They're working together and they're developing these, joint partnerships to be able to cross-sell products about that. So that all occurs before it would get to, a final packager, a final, co-packer, et cetera. And so it's really about, being able to leverage a shipment to an end customer, be able to do advertising across the companies. And it's definitely partnerships that are formed. And you kind of see that in a lot of different things now when you're ordering products. Sometimes I get, sports products for my children, and then in there's coupons for something totally unrelated that don't even pertain to children. And you're just kind of wonder, but it is definitely, you think about it, you read it, you look at it, and it does kind of make you think, oh, do I want to look at that or not? And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you very interested in other products as well.
Mackenna, do you want to talk about, your questions and how things went for you?
So as I mentioned before, offline, we shopped for dog stuff. Those are his paws. Just wanted to clarify
I saw his little paw, say, hey.
He wants to be involved. But so I bought dog stuff, and I was very concerned about the bone that I bought, because I know in pet stores, you can just buy the bone and basically just give it to your dog right away in the store. And I bought toys and a bed. So I was very concerned that the bone would get on the other products, but it came completely wrapped and was airtight. And I'm just wondering how our decisions typically made for how a product is packaged to ship. And I know we've kind of touched on it, but do you have anything more that you could add?
Yeah, so I think when you get into different types of products, and it could be a mixture of foods and bones and toys and everything else, there are definitely standards that are set up, right? And so some of the warehouses that we're running for customers, have pet, food in them, and they also have other products in them, right? And so they do follow very specific regulations around how you should store those and how you should ship those. And a lot of it is tied to, the quality requirements, making sure that there's no cross-contamination of products during the shipping process. So as you received your products, when they were being packaged, they probably were following the set of guidelines that said, must shrink wrap this or, polybag this, et cetera, so that it doesn't contaminate the other products as it's being shipped. Also, I think as we start to see more and more e-com orders, being placed by end customers, especially with what's occurred the last several months, there's just been a surge of e-com orders. I think people are recognizing that, you want those orders to come looking like there was some care put into them, right? And looking like the wrapping was there to protect it and not cross-contaminate it with other products, depending upon if you had flavors on the bone, et cetera. And so I think every organization is really paying attention to what's going to make that end user experience as best as possible and what's going to protect that product on the way to getting to that end user.
Right. And I appreciated the wrapping in that, because a big concern that I had was that the dog bed would smell like bones, and it didn't. So that is very good. But then also part of my order arrived in one package, which is fine. It was the bulk of the order, because I know warehouses and distribution centers, that usually determines it. But then in my other package, I don't have show and tell like Brielle did, recycled it right away. But and the one package was just one dog toy, and it was quite large for a dog toy that's probably the size of this pillow. But the box is twice the size of it. And then it had paper that was 5 feet long. It was just an enormous amount of packaging just to go with this one soft dog toy. And so how can companies be more sustainable with their packaging?
So definitely is probably not the right way to have packaged that product, right? Because there should have been some guidelines around that, just to be very cautious and conscious of what's being shipped, how it's being shipped, et cetera. But I will say, in general, almost every single organization that we work with has sustainability on their agenda. It's just undisputed that they absolutely are paying more and more attention to it. And some of the ways that they're doing it as an end customer, you might not see, right? So a lot of companies have turned to, digital printing, right, to avoid the emissions that come from traditional print inks, correct? And then also you'll see some of the tapes now have converted from the traditional plastic tapes to paper-based tapes. So it's, they're trying to, be more conscious around that. In addition, the fillers that you're seeing, less plastics, more paper-based fillers, right, to be able to be fully recycled. And I think also we're starting to see less glues and less laminations on those exterior cartoners that you may not necessarily have totally noticed in the past, but they're trying to eliminate those so that that end box is fully recyclable. And so even though you may not as an end consumer see some of these things or notice some of these things, there are absolutely actions being taken by pretty much every organization that we've worked with to pay attention to sustainability, to make sure that they're doing everything possible to make that end product at least fully recyclable and so forth. And the products and the actual fillers and papers you may have seen may all have been recyclable products already as well, something that you may or may not have noticed when they had come through. As you noticed, both of you in your packages, there's definitely room for improvement, right? There's room for improvement to make sure that everyone is following the rules and following all the quality standards that are needed, and just making sure that they're leveraging all the tools out there, because there are quite a few tools out there that people can use as they're packaging the products, about making sure you choose the right size, making sure that the fillers are appropriate for what is being shipped, and really making sure that those best choices are being making. So there are the tools. Sometimes enforcing them takes a little bit more time, but I will say the majority of organizations out there, the majority of 3PLs are absolutely paying attention to it and really trying to make sure that they approach this much better than they have in the past. So you probably may have seen just a few mistakes being made in both of the shipments that you have received, for sure.
It's interesting because it wasn't terrible. I was just really curious on how, that happened. But it's really nice to know more about the process, because as supply chain editors, we do know a decent amount. But there's all that minutia that you've told us today is really interesting to hear about.
Well, so I absolutely appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about it. It's a very exciting topic for me, for our organization, of course. But, we all receive packages, and we love to open them, and we want that experience to be great. And so do the organizations that are sending you those packages too. So absolutely room for improvement, but we do see a lot of progress.
Everyone loves opening a package, so why not make it even better?
Exactly.
Well, thank you again for coming on. I think that's all we have for today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciated speaking to both of you.
And we'll see you guys again next time.